Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Dinosaur Island. Our episode starts here, where we can see the Tyrannosaur nest. All of the Tyrannosaurs are missing Nigel ever since they were separated from him in the hunt that happened a few episodes ago. But the one that is missing him by far the most is Rex. Rex has no mating rights with Bloodtooth. Grant does nothing but pick on him, and despite his tiny size, so does Little Tyrant. Nigel was the only real friend and companion that Rex had within the pack. Life has been hard without him. It does appear that Bloodtooth is missing him a little, though. However, this episode is not about the mourning of the loss of Nigel. It is about Nigel himself. So it is now time to leave the T-Rex nest and go and find Nigel and observe and record his challenges as a solitary T-Rex. And here we see Nigel wandering through the forest. In his time of being lost, he has ventured even deeper into the southernmost jungles of Dinosaur Island. His chances of ever finding his pack are getting slimmer and slimmer every day. Nigel spots something in the distance of the forest. It is hard to make out exactly what it is, but it looks like it could be prey. He moves towards it. Nigel stops. He is very close to the other dinosaur now. The animal that Nigel has been stalking is a huge male Triceratops. Nigel has not eaten since he was separated from the rest of his pack, and he desperately wants to hunt the Triceratops. However, Nigel is not the only one stalking the Triceratops. We see the second predator about 500 meters away. This is Blizzard. He is a male Eutyrannus hawley, my favorite species of dinosaur, by the way. Blizzard decides that it is time to attack. Blizzard has a firm hold on the Triceratops' neck. Blizzard starts to eat his kill. Nigel desperately wants to intervene, but he has not eaten in days, and he knows that he is too weak to go out there. On the other side of the island, we see Para walking up quite a steep hill. When he reaches the top, he may finally rest, for he has reached the Western Plains. Although there is grass, it is still very dry and desolate here, for we are still very much in the north end of the island. However, it is nonetheless an important step in Para's journey to the south side of the island. However, unfortunately, not all news is good. For the Allosaurus is still stalking Para. She has been stalking him for miles, and she cannot wait any longer to sink her fangs into her prey. Para's reflexes are quick, and he runs away. Para is running as fast as he possibly can, when suddenly he runs into another dinosaur. Thankfully, it is another herbivore, a powerful ankylosaurus. We will name him Stoneback. As the Allosaurus draws closer, Para backs away. But Stoneback holds his ground. Stoneback the Ankylosaurus has used his powerful tail club to hit the Allosaurus directly in her left ankle, snapping it. She gets up slowly. She can stand, but she has a bad limp now. Unfortunately for her, Stoneback is far from finished. Stoneback uses his tail to drive the Allosaurus closer to a steep hill right off the side of the plains, the one that Para climbed up just a few minutes ago to get here. The Allosaurus female is just on the very edge of the hill, and then Stoneback knocks her off. The Allosaurus is dead. And Para has made a new friend. Him and Stoneback can now migrate to the lush south side of the island together. 4 hours later. It is now 7:48 p.m. And as time passes, the sun sets. Darkness is almost upon the island. We are also back on the south side of the island, where we started this episode. And as you can guess by that location, we are back in the southernmost forests, with Nigel. Although it is not yet completely dark, it is dark enough that most of our cameras no longer work, so we must use our rarely used night vision cameras. Here we see Nigel wandering through the forest. It is especially dark down here. Nigel has not eaten. He has looked for food since his failed kill of the Triceratops, or rather, stolen kill of the Triceratops that we saw earlier. But he has not found any suitable prey, and even if he has, they have gotten away. He is starving and he is weak. However, luck is about to come to him. Only a few meters away, we see one of the oldest and most primitive dinosaurs on Dinosaur Island. It is a Coelophysis. They date back all the way to the late Triassic period, when dinosaurs first evolved. He is small and fast, but mostly, he is pretty dang helpless. Nigel's hunger drives him to do something very irrational. He decides to try and attack already. Despite attacking early, and despite being weak, Nigel was able to make the kill. Nigel is so starved, he eats the Coelophysis in one gulp. He roars in triumph. However, not all things happening this night are good, and Nigel is unaware that all the commotion has attracted other predators. It is Blizzard, the male Eutyrannus that we observed earlier. The two face off. Although earlier Nigel was terrified of even this smaller 30-foot predator, now he is rejuvenated by his recent food that he had, and he is ready to defend himself once again. Nigel may have eaten, and he is fuller than he has been, but he is not completely healthy once again. After all, that was only a small meal. He decides to go to a place that he has not ventured to in quite some time. The eastern grasslands. As he was already at the edge of the forest, it only takes him a few seconds to reach the grasslands. But when he gets there, he is surprised at what he sees. Normally not many dinosaurs roam around here at night, but tonight is different. It is a huge bull male Brachiosaurus. However, it is not just the mere presence of this giant sauropod that has caught the attention of Nigel. It is the fact that it is being hunted by Razor and Violet, the pair of Utah raptors. Razor and Violet appear to be discussing something, perhaps a plan of attack. The two powerful Utah raptors move closer to their victim. Violet attacks. Violet latches onto the Brachiosaur's neck. Even with her attached, he tries to make a break for it. Then, suddenly, Razor attacks as well. With both raptors latched on with their powerful front claws, it looks like the Brachiosaur is doomed. Violet has jumped off. She knows their plan, and she knows that she is no longer needed. Razor jumps down as well. The Brachiosaur is covered in bad wounds. All the raptors have to do now is to wait for him to die of exhaustion or blood loss. At this point, Nigel is not the only one watching the fight. Blizzard has shown up because of the noise as well. The two are too captivated in what is happening before their eyes to fight each other. Finally, the great titan succumbs to his wounds, and he collapses. The Brachiosaurus is dead. The two Utah raptors, Razor and Violet, move in to feast on their kill. The next morning, we can get a much better look at the results of last night's hunt. The raptors feasted on the Brachiosaur for almost an hour. Even their baby came down from the nest to join them. But now it appears they have finally finished eating their fill. Currently, the one eating is Blizzard. He waited a few minutes after the raptors had eaten their fill, and then he snuck back out of the forest to eat his. Even though many scavengers have come by and feasted on this carcass for hours, there is still almost all the meat on it. For this was a large male Brachiosaur, and it could feed 100 starving carnivores for days. It appears that Blizzard has eaten his fill, and he moves off. He pauses a bit, and then slips off into the relative safety of the dark forest. The next one up to eat some of the carcass is Nigel. He is still not eaten anything besides that tiny coelophysis he had last night, and he is still starved. He begins to feast on the Brachiosaur. He is rejuvenated and excited to finally be putting this much flesh in his belly. He roars in triumph, for now he knows he can survive on his own. He must eat his fill quick, though, for the smell of sauropod blood is bound to bring larger predators near. Perhaps it already has. Nigel seems to notice something in the distance. The predator that Nigel saw is actually 2 predators. It is the 2 male Carnotauruses that Redsail got in a fight with a few episodes ago. They must have migrated from the western plains to these eastern ones, perhaps in favor of better prey animals. Nigel is not fazed. He is strong once again, and he is ready to defend himself against any rival. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Dinosaur Island.